Hi everyone, happy weekend. I'm so glad that you're painting these beautiful ranunculus with me. This whole week has been about pivoting, and I'm going to chatter about that as well as the fun things we're going to be painting this summer. So I'm so happy you're here and joining with me today. Hi everyone. Well, this week I am doing a little bit of a departure from what I was going to do. However, some weeks are like that, and I had to tell myself, let's just pivot from the plan. So as I saw in the pictures, I am going to paint a just a very quick watercolor sketch of these ranunculus that I've had, or ranunculus that have really they have been on. I've just enjoyed them so much for probably the last 10 days, but they are definitely on their way out. But I am just going to do a quick sketch of them kind of honestly fading away a little bit. So if you want to paint with me, or if maybe you have a bouquet that you've had, maybe some would call it a little bit too long. I call it we are just enjoying the flowers for their extended life. I'm going to sketch this out with micron pen so you can see it, but feel free to use a pencil. It is going to be raining here apparently for the next several days. So I am kind of preparing for that and finishing up some recording and some projects here before the rain comes and everything turns a little bit darker. But we will just see what happens. Sometimes the storms blow over, don't they? So again, I'm just going to go ahead here. I'm going to paint the bottom of my vase. I was going to continue on and just a mini series of Jesus's I am statements, but the painting that I was working on, it just was not turning out. And I thought, you know what, I was gonna do a painting of I am the vine, of what Jesus says, but that might come later. We will see, but it just wasn't quite ready for YouTube. Ideally, oh, let me back this up. We have got some sun, good. Come on in, sun. What I like to do with these ones is I want to make them simple enough yet lovely where we can just quickly sketch it out, paint it, and you're able just to complete the whole thing in about 20 minutes. There's just something beautiful about doing a little lovely pieces of art quickly, and they can really build up, and our skills build up, and just a satisfaction. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do that leaf, and I'm actually going to pull it out if it will let me. Oh, good. Okay, this leaf here, it is just sticking up so beautifully. And so what I'm going to do is good. You can see that. You could probably see it better over here, I'm thinking, with the shadows. Yes, a little bit here. Let me play. We're just pivoting. This is a pivoting week. And so, okay. There we go. Okay, better. So this guy's actually really coming up. And I love, along with one of the flowers, I really love floral bouquets that kind of spread, right? Because we have one of those sweet little ranunculus coming out over here. I'm just going to bring it out to the very edge, and the ranunculus with their flowers, it's almost like a wide bowl, because these ones are pretty much literally petals have been just flying everywhere. There must be hundreds and hundreds of petals on these. So it's almost like a wide bowl because we're not tight anymore, and so it's a wide bowl, and you have a bunch of the petals up at the top with them almost cupped out. So I've got that guy right here, but then with my lovely leaf, you can tell there's a leaf coming up at the top, and then almost symmetrically, but almost a little bit stair-stepped, I'm gonna just gonna do these leaves. Actually, I need to make sure they really come in nice and tight at the end. So I'm gonna just do some of these leaves, and there's actually a second one. So I'm gonna do another guy right next to him, not quite as high though. And I'm, once again, gonna go ahead and add these leaves in. The greenery gives a nice balance, I think, to all the blooms and petals, because then, like right here, I've got a really pretty ranuncula. It's coming out here. Now again, if you're using pencil, you're going to be able to you can erase some of this, and I'm not going to be able to, but that's okay. I am going to kind of just play with this. It'll be a little bit messy, but again, with the ranuncula, you have all the petals almost clustered at the top, so I just make them little light feathers, but you still have the bigger ones that are, some of them coming out quite a bit. So I just added a couple over here. And then the ranuncula stem itself, and let me pull one out so you can see it. as the petals go oh my gosh. I'll have to do a picture of literally, I pulled it out and I think doesn't, oh yeah, you can probably see some of those petals flying around here. So you can see that stem is pretty thick, and you can see it's lighter green here and then darker green as we go down. So I'll go ahead and leave this guy here so we can see that flower. If he was doing the face, we have the darker inside. But with this, with our perspective, we really, and I'll back this up so you can see, we are really getting this perspective. Here's all the petals are flying, of these petals almost falling down on some of them. Now on some of them, the petals, they're almost facing away from me or turning up to the sky. So I've got one high one over here where I can almost just see the back of it. I had the petals here and almost coming out, coming out, coming out, and then in the middle, I have my stem, and this is coming through. I am not gonna do the stem all the way down because we have some leaves coming out over here. But on the back of these guys, you can see right here, it's like a star where the stem is covering up or kind of holding up our flower. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll move this in so you can actually see this a little bit better and move this up. I'm gonna go ahead here and just a little star, that little stem holding everything together. And then I'm gonna go ahead, I've got another guy, making sure you can see this, yes, coming out over here, and I can see the stem really well. So this stem is gonna come out over here. I've got this one's a pretty big one, and you can make your ranunculus different sizes, but kind of, again, almost like soft pillows. These petals are so soft and light. They're just, they're almost translucent. They're just beautiful. So then I have up here, I have leaves, and you can see I'm just kind of filling these guys in. Over here, this leaf is a little bit crazier and bringing him down, but I also have another flower right over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in this little flower here, a little ranuncula. Light, pretty big, and then the stem going into my vase. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add in some more ranunculus here. I've got a bunch that are kind of coming out over here, but if you've painted with me for a while, you know that we get to choose what we put in, right, and what we leave out. So I'm going to go ahead and make a nice big one here. It's going to even go behind that leaf a little bit. And I'm going to have those petals, again, layers of petals. And I don't overthink it, because I used to with ranunculus. I was intimidated by them, but now I just do lots of layers, that thicker stem, and you have that kind of a wide bowl, almost like a big teacup. And then over here, we're gonna have, there's another one, and it's kind of coming out to the side, so my thicker stem. You notice that the ranunculus stems, they don't have any leaves on them, and that's a distinguishing characteristic as well. So this guy over here, and this one's actually a little bit droopy, so I'm even gonna just have it be a little bit more of a droopy petal. And I think over on my floor, I'll back this up. On my floor here, I am going to just sketch out some of these pretty petals. So if you can see, well, we're gonna make them, they almost look like teardrops, but a little bit like if a teardrop was a triangle and flattened, if that makes sense. We'll have to do some shadowing, but I'll just do a couple down here. You don't have to do that. And then again, there's a bunch of flowers of ranunculus on this one, so I'm just gonna do a couple more. I had one falling down here. That is just, and another one here. This is my flowers. I was gonna call this, I had an idea of just, you know, again, the beauty of flowers that have just spent themselves, that have been thoroughly enjoyed, and now they're on their last days. In a way, it's kind of sad when I see my flower bouquet, but when I see all their petals dropping, and they did their job. They were here for their season. They bloomed magnificently. Even in their dying, they're just magnificent. There's just nothing halfway about these flowers. They give it their all, and I love that. Okay, I've got one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know we don't like to have odd numbers, and I'm kind of looking, I'm actually gonna do 2 more back here. right over here. Okay, I've got this guy here, and again that pillows. I've got the stem coming back. Now these ranunculus are orange. There's a lot of like pink ranunculus, and I'm going to do one more over here. You could do paint it pink if you really want to do that. I am going to go ahead and keep up with my orange. Okay, my kind of yellowish orange. So let's go ahead now and we're going to just put on some paint. We're not going to do really heavy paint either because of the because we're just doing a sketch, and I want to finish this in one sitting. So let's see how we're going to do this. What we're not going to do is I'm not going to worry about the background. I do want to do the vase, and I actually am going to do the dapple blue that I have on my vase. This is a vase that I got. I bought it when I was on a trip with Victoria Magazine a couple of years ago in Virginia. And we were doing this in this antique shop in Alexandria, and I found this gorgeous like spotted vase. I am going to go ahead and do the dark interior. And it was just beautiful. I loved it. It's from Italy. It was made in Italy, a ceramic. And it's like all this kind of blue splatters of paint. And those of you who've painted with me too, you know I do like some splattering. So it was just splatters of paint almost on this vase. And it was I liked it because it was a bit contemporary, but not overly so. And I thought it's just kind of fun with my more romantic and traditional decor. And then with flowers, the blue just goes beautifully with the flowers. So there's just dots. You can do your solid. You can just leave it white even if you want. You can do it yellow to coordinate with the flowers. But I am just going to go ahead. I have been painting this little guy a lot. And so I'm going to go ahead and finish up with him. You can see the painting. It is almost like there was splatters of paint all over this guy. I'm being careful not to go too close to our flowers. So now once I have that, again, I'll come in a little bit closer. We may break for just a minute to let a few things dry, right? Because I definitely don't want to get it too wet. Now what I'm going to do with my colors is I've got lemon yellow here, but I also mixed it with a little bit of pink to kind of create that orange, because I didn't want like a bold orange. I didn't want to use a cadmium orange where we have it's too dark, and you can see orange tinges, but it's really kind of a nice almost creamy lemon yellow. You know how that butter yellow is a big kind of a hot color? I don't usually follow the trends, but I kind of was interested in the butter. I like a brighter yellow, but this beautiful butter yellow was very pretty too. But this one, it's kind of a soft, right? It's almost a summer yellow. But we're just going to go ahead and I am going to just lay in the layers of this really beautiful flower. And I'm going to go, again, I'm going to do a little bit, pick up a little more yellow. You could do this with pink. I really love ranunculus because ranunculus, their color, so, you know, some of them are lighter pink, some of them are bolder pink. And that lemon yellow almost looks a little bit too yellow, so I am going to pick up just to get a bit of that soft color. Just dab it around. And I like this too because I feel like I'm not really, we're almost just dabbing. We're dabbing at these lovely petals. We want to keep them a little bit on the transparent side if you can, because again, as the flowers are spent, they kind of almost, they lose their color a little bit. They lose some of their vibrancy, even down here below. Again, so I'm going to go ahead, come back in, come over here, and the color will dry a little bit lighter. So even on these guys, I can go ahead, I can just soften them up a bit. Be careful if you painted your vase. I'm going to go down here by the blue, but I'm going to be careful. Okay. So once we have those initially done, again, I'm leaving it super transparent. Let's pick up our color, and I'm not going to do these flowers quite yet. I want to do the stems first, let the blue dry just a little bit, and then we'll go back and finish everything else. So I'm going to back this up a little bit so we can see the whole thing. If you want to as well, this is a great opportunity to take a little bit of the color. If you put petals below, just dab that color and keep it light. Don't leave some white on the petals. We're trying to almost create that transparent, translucent, and I'm going to dab in on these petals right here. Okay, now that we have that on this guy, I'm going to add a little bit more of the pink. Okay, let's get a little bit of our yellow, and I'm going to just do a couple of my stems. I'm going to dab them in yellow because they are lighter, and then we're going to cover it up with the green. That looks really good. Okay, so I cleaned my water real quick. So if you need to clean your water because I got a little bit blue, grab some clean water, and then we're just going to go ahead now and I am going to add in my stems. Now, there's two ways you could do this. If you just have one green, maybe I'll do it like that. I have a couple greens on my palette, but I'm going to just pull out the Hooker's green. The Hooker's green, I think this is a light hue. We'll get this nice and wet. Then I'm going to clean that off really good. I'm going to pick up some of that yellow, and I am going to make a lighter green here. And I'm going to take that lighter green. Let me come in so you can see this better. And on my stems of the ranunculus, I am going to go ahead and just do a nice light, that lighter green. And I can see some of them creeping behind here. I didn't sketch in all of them. That's okay. I've got my long one here. I'm going to have them creep in here. And I am just, oh, you probably can't see the ones. Let me come back. I'm even going down here. Again, if you have done this in pencil, yours may not look quite as neat because that pen really cleans everything up. But you can always go back afterwards, as I often do. Here's my other one. Oh, I have a flower back there that I didn't. Is that a flower? Is. I have a petal. Okay. That I need to do. I've got, oh, I have one petal. Okay. But what was I saying? My naked petal that caught my attention. But anyways, we can just do the stems first here. Oh, the micron pen. That's what I was talking about. You can come back afterwards, erase pencil marks, and just add in the micron pen. Okay, so we've got the lighter green in, and now I'm just going to dip into the darker green. Get a little bit more water. It's so good to have different color greens, and you can really see as we look, there are all, we have different greens here, right? We have the lighter, warmer green, and even though on our leaves, it's multiple greens. We can have a little bit of yellow for sure in those. However, for our 20-minute sketches, I want to be cognizant that we're not trying to do too much. So if you're trying to, for example, if you're painting just a little bit in the evening before bed or in the morning time, I want to be cognizant of the time that you have. You can see where my petal is. I'm going to just leave that alone and let the leaves dry, and I'll have to go back in and add in my petal. I see a few petals I didn't do. I'm just going to pick up some more green and dab that in. Now, if you had created a blue vase like me, or if you have added some blue in here, I can also pick up some blue and add that to the green for a darker color. So I can take a little bit of blue here, mix it into my green, not tons, and then even dab a little bit there where on the underleaves where I'm going to see some more shadowing. And I can just even paint in that darker green blue there. Oh, I see another couple things I missed here. I can even, and then I'm just going to go back in, pick up the lighter green, and then dab that on top. Bring that up here. So we're getting that nice contrast of different greens, but we don't have to use a bunch of different colors. We've used blue, one yellow, one green, and we've used a tad bit of pink as well. All right, I'm going to come over here with this stem. I've got some stems over here I just want to add in. And you can tell too by the pictures of the bouquet of ranunculus, there's a lot more, it's a lot thicker. So I could add in some extra stems. Back that up. So I could come back in over here and add another stem here. I could add in, we have more leaves actually sticking out over here, and if I wanted to, I can just add in some leaves. So you can make this as full or if a little bit less full. Again, this is you really utilizing our imagination. We're taking my beautiful ranunculus and using them as an inspiration, and then creating our own bouquet of the ranunculus that have kind of given their all and they're on their final days. Now I'm going to come back with a smaller brush, and another reason I love my little pointy round tip brushes is because I can come back in here, and let me come in closer if I can, and you can see where like I missed a petal in here, and I'm just going to go back and add a little bit more. And where I see some, if we wanted to do shadowing, we could add like a little bit of purple, but we're not going to do that today because I'm just going to make it a little bit darker. We're going to keep it a little bit more simplistic today. And I actually, sometimes simple is better. Yes, and I'm actually really loving the simplicity and the beauty of this. Couple of things in this guy right here. I want to add in, remember how we can see the inside, those stems. So let me look at my time. We are just about hitting that 20-minute mark, which is fantastic. I'm gonna dab. Now, if your petals are wet, you might wanna wait just at the until they're dry, but I'm gonna just dab a little bit, those little tendrils. And isn't that pretty? Again, sometimes those little details really make a huge difference. I'm gonna take some of that darker green, I'm gonna add just a little bit more to some of these petals, right over here. I missed a little bit of blue. Let me come down so you can see this on my handle of my vase right here. So I'm going to come back in. Now, if you're on the email list, I'm going to be announcing the summer series. I'm going to do something fun for summer. And I'm going to be sharing more details for sure on the email list. We're going to be doing some YouTube Paint With Me through like a book. And so I will, you'll find of course out when the YouTube releases, but I'm putting the details together now, and I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to be having a lot of fun throughout the summer months. I won't be posting every week, but I'll do probably like every month I'll do a couple together. So there's still going to be fresh content over the summer months. And I can't even believe I'm saying that as we are close to June, but I am excited about May. I'm excited about some upcoming projects. The spring sessions just released today, and so if you're interested in painting with me on a more robust paintings, definitely come over and check that out, and I will put a link for that below. Okay, final look. Now again, if you want to come back and do a background, I would wait till everything dries, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take my blue green, I'm actually going to do just a blue, and I'm going to just come back on my horizon line, just like a light. Let me actually pull this back so you can see it. And then underneath my petals, I want to just do like a little bit of a shadow. So I'm just going to take that blue, and I'm just dabbing, just barely over here, a little bit where that, we would see some shadowing right from the sun coming down on the handle here. And then again, against the little petals, just lightly. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. And isn't this fun? So here it was. This was not the project I planned on this week, and yet I think it really turned out quite lovely. And I love the fact that we can just use what we have sometimes. Sometimes inspiration is right in front of us. And so enjoy your weekend. If you're watching this on the Friday that releases, I hope you have a beautiful weekend and enjoy the weather, whether it's sunny or rainy, maybe the opportunity for painting, enjoy the flowers, and I'm going to see you very